Hello from Beer Australia Reviews, and today we will be sampling, tasting and reviewing one of the most classic beers across Australia, and this one is the Emu Export Lager. Now, as you can see here, it's actually in what they call a classic special edition tin, so I don't know when this was first introduced. Now, the beer itself, Emu Export Lager, was first introduced to the world in the year 1954, so that's about, what's that, 70 odd years ago now, or approaching 70 years ago. This actually, the brewery can actually trace its origins right back to the start of the colony in Perth in Western Australia, and the brewery itself was actually opened in 1837. That was originally it was called the Albion Brewery, right next to the Swan River, in what's now like the centre of Perth in the CBD, and it was then they swapped the name over to Emu to tie in with the name of the beer that they were producing, and then the brewery itself, Emu, was actually bought out by Swan Brewing early in the 20th century. Now, so like I said, the Emu Export Lager, what we're doing today, was actually launched in 1954, but it's now part of the Lion Group. So it's along with another few brands such as Little Creatures and 4X and Tui's, I think, on that one. Anyway, okay, let's get this one open, and it's as we can see, it's inside the beer fridge. Okay. There we go. So we've got Emu Export Lager. There's not a lot of information on the tin on this one. The beer for Western Australia since 1923, so there's a bit of a conflicting times, I don't know. And it says brewed and canned around Australian carbon neutral breweries. So it's another one of these Lion brand beers which could be brewed anywhere across Australia. You never know what you're going to get. They've got some big breweries in Melbourne and Sydney, but I've no clue where this one is actually brewed. And there's even a chance that it might be brewed in Western Australia, but I doubt it. Okay, so now... So it's described as a lager-style beer. It says it's a hoppy-style beer with a crisp finish. Now, it's been quite a while since I had an Emu. I've not drank... I tend not to drink the mainstream brands just because. And we'll see how this one compares to the two other big ones, VB, and the worldwide best-known one, Foster's. Foster's is bland. Now, also... okay, well, let's get the can open and see what it's like. Very light pale colour, sparkly. Oh, looks like a nice beer. There we go. That actually looks like quite a nice beer. And I'm actually getting a little bit of aroma from this. With these sorts of beers, you don't expect to get bundles of aroma. These beers are just supposed to be like a refreshing beer. And actually, also another funny thing about this one of my mates, Josh from work, described Emu as the perfect Australian beer. He then went on to say that the thing about Emu beer is that you can drink it at any temperature, warm or cold, and it still tastes exactly the same. So yeah, anyway, okay, Josh, I'm not gonna take you up on the warm or cold bit, because this is definitely straight out of the beer fridge. Okay, so let's have a look. It's still got a bit of a sparkle to it. We've got like a little bit of a thin head, but it's staying there in place. It looks nice. It's all of these mainstream brands, they always look really good in the glass itself. Okay, so let's give it a go. It smells like another one of these ordinary Australian beers. It's actually got quite a refreshing malt note on this one. Tiny little bit of hops. This is not like one of these craft beers where they add extra hops in at the start, in the middle, and at the end again. So it's not one of those sorts of beers by any means at all. No, it's losing its aroma by now. So let's check out the what do they call it? It's a hoppy style beer with a crisp finish. and it says it was a refreshing something or other. Okay, anyways, right. No point in going onto the website to have a look, because that's everything it says about this particular beer. So if you want to have, if you want to see anything about the beers, you got to go on and go on any of like the review sites and things to see what the beer is like. Anyway, okay, here goes. Not a lot of flavour. Tiny little bit of malt. It's okay. It's okay. It's not the most wonderful beer. It's not a craft beer. It's a mainstream brand beer. It's never going to be anything out of the ordinary. It's got more flavour than Foster's. Australian brewed Foster's is the blandest beer that you'll ever come across. It's a bit smoother than a VB. It's quite tangy. And again, these beers are always perfect for drinking in Australia, because especially today, it's like another 30 degrees centigrade day in Perth. Air conditioning is on. It's warm outside. You've got to go and sit in the shade, and in those sorts of conditions, this is the sort of beer that people just like to drink, because it's a refreshing beer. You always chill the thing down, despite what Josh says. And yeah, so it's looking good. It tastes okay. I would not class this as being a hoppy beer. Okay, also, I am getting a little bit of the Australian water taste. I don't know how well filtered this water is, and I find it, I wouldn't expect them to do any sort of a water profile with this one. They tend not to with the Lion Group and the Carlton Group and those sorts of things. They just give you the local water that's been filtered. It's a little bit drying the water. It's not the best water for making beer, but Australia is not the best climate for making beer anyway. You need to make beer in a temperate climate, and Australia is just too warm. Australia is like in places like a subtropical climate or like a Mediterranean climate. It's just the place where you can make wine, top the best wine in Australia, but the beers are just so. And well, okay, but it is what it is. It's got a little bit of maltiness. It's got a little bit of citrus in there. It's got a little bit of a tang, a little bit of a bit more citrus on that one. So it's not quite lemony. Unlike some of the real high quality craft lagers that you have, they have a really citrus lemony taste that really like bites you on your tongue. It's that sharp lemon, so it's not like that. But overall though, I'm actually it's definitely better than the Australian brewed Foster's. That one just whatever. VB has a bit of a stronger flavour, but a slightly different flavour. I've had a Swan Draft recently that was less so. I would prefer a VB to a Swan Draft, and I put this one, I would actually probably say I would prefer, out of the few brands that I've just mentioned there, your VB, your Foster's, your Swan Draft, I would actually have one of these before I'd have one of them. So I'm actually rating the your Emu higher than those other mainstream brands. So would I choose this over a craft lager? No. If there was a craft beer on, and then there was one of these beers, I would be having the craft beer each and every single time. That's a definite. But if I go into a pub and the only thing they've got on draft is Emu Export Lager, I would have some, because it's entirely drinkable. It doesn't knock your socks off, but especially on one of those hot days, on a warm day in Australia, it's definitely a beer for then. So, okay, there we go. This is Emu Export Lager in a classic special edition can. The cans are usually like a red sort of label on them, which is what I was expecting, so it was a little bit of a surprise to see this one. But yeah, I'm actually rating this one okay. Nothing special, nothing wonderful, but it's okay. So in any case, thanks for watching.